Hey there, fellow gun enthusiasts. Man, if you're like me, you're tired of seeing brand new ARs and tactical rifles sucking your wallet dry, while the real gems, those battle-tested military surplus pieces, are still sitting out there begging to be shot. In 2026, the surplus market isn't dead. It's just smarter buyers winning big. These rifles aren't fancy, but they're tough as nails, packed with history, and won't break the bank. We're talking proven performers you can actually take to the range without crying over the price tag. Hit that like button if you're ready to score some history, and subscribe to Survival Gear Showcase. Let's jump in. Disclaimer: always check that headspace and bore before you send rounds downrange, and hit up a gunsmith if you're unsure about ammo or condition. Chinese SKS Type 56. When it comes to semi-auto surplus, the pickings are getting slim, but the Chinese SKS Type 56 remains one of the best deals you'll find. Priced at $440 to $805 in 2026, depending on condition. These gas-operated workhorses chamber the ever-present 7.62 by 39 millimeters. Same as your AK buddies? So ammo's dirt cheap and everywhere. Steel case surplus or fancy hunting loads. Fixed 10-round mag loads quick with stripper clips, giving you faster follow-ups than any bolt gun on this list. Chinese builds are crude, rough machining, basic wood stocks, but the internals. Bulletproof. They run filthy wet or dry. No complaints. Accuracy hovers at 3 to 4 MOA. Good for minute of bad guy or deer at sensible ranges. Folding bayonet under the barrel adds that period correct flair without being gimmicky. Resist the urge to tactical it with junk accessories. These deserve to stay original. Flood of imports keeps them affordable. Ever dreamed of a rock-solid rifle that can take a beating without making you cringe over every nick? Look no further. This bad boy is the holy grail for semi-auto surplus junkies. Mosin Nagant M9130, the legendary Mosin Nagant M91. The 30th of May have left behind its $79 spam in glory days, but at $425, $700 in 2026, it remains an exceptional value for indestructible Soviet engineering. Produced by the millions from the 1930s through World War II, these workhorses armed Soviet forces through some of history's most brutal conflicts. And that battlefield-proven durability translates directly to the civilian shooting experience. That 7.62 by 54 R-round hits like a 308. Surplus steel case ammo is still cheap when you find it, and modern loads tighten things up considerably. The bolt feels like stirring concrete at first, the trigger is awful, and accuracy is minute a man at best. But these rifles survive Stalingrad winters and abuse that would kill modern guns. After a few boxes, the action smooths out, and you realize why it's the ultimate gateway surplus rifle. The 29-inch barrel gives excellent velocity, and that distinctive side-mounted bayonet adds serious historical cool factor. Virtually indestructible, tolerates neglect, and packs serious power for hunting medium to large game. Hex receivers from earlier production runs command slight premiums, but even basic round receiver examples deliver the same reliability. If you're new to surplus, start here. You'll be hooked within the first magazine. Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark I. Among British military rifles, the Lee Enfield No. 4 Mark I stands as the pinnacle of the series, still available for $600 to $900 in decent shape, despite 2026's climbing prices. That rear-locking bolt cycles like lightning? The Mad Minute wasn't hype. Trained hands dump 30, plus aimed rounds per minute. 10-round detachable mag doubles most bolts capacity, and 303 British pack 308 like punch for hunting or defense. Ergonomic shine natural point, great balance with the 25-inch barrel. Wartime builds vary in quality, but most shoot 3 MOA, plenty for deer or plinking. Aperture sights are quick and precise over old barley corn setups. Surplus 303 is drying up, but major makers like Hornady keep hunting loads flowing. As World War II rifles fade into collections, this one's still practical. Why chase vanishing Garands when the Enfield offers speed and capacity? Picture yourself rattling off shots while others reload. Ever wonder what made Commonwealth troops so effective? This rifle's the answer. For a working historical piece that's fun to shoot, it's the balanced champ. Czechoslovakian VZ-24 Mauser. When Czech gunsmiths set out to build a Mauser, they didn't settle for good enough. The Czechoslovakian VZ-24 Mauser is often hailed as the finest Mauser variant ever made, going for $450 to $650 in solid condition. Built from 1924 through World War II, these exported everywhere. Romanian, Yugoslav, Czech forces all ran them. Fit and finish? Top tier. Tight tolerances, killer metallurgy, details that make K98S look sloppy. Chambered in 8mm Mauser, they routinely hit 1.5 to 2 MOA with modern loads, turning a surplus gun into a real deer slayer. Aftermarket scope mounts exist if you want to glass it up. Original Czech examples boast deep bluing and rich walnut. Even refurbs hold quality. Power is ample for North American game. It's the accuracy champ in surplus land. If you crave precision without the premium, isn't this the rifle calling your name? Yugoslavian M2447 Mauser. For those who know where to look, the Yugoslavian M2447 Mauser represents one of surplus's best-kept secrets, often outshooting pricier German originals while selling for just $395 to $549 these days. Yugoslavia took old M24 actions in the late 40s and rebuilt them like pros. Refinished stocks, fresh barrels if needed, everything tuned for combat readiness. Result? Killer quality to price ratio in the surplus world. Same controlled feed reliability as the classics, chambered in potent 8mm Mauser. These intermediate length rifles deliver 2 to 3 MOA with good ammo, making them legit hunters. The action smooth from Cosmoline naps, and walnut stocks show character without abuse. Arsenal marks and force match numbers tell the refurb story, but bores are usually pristine. Why do collectors snub these? Because they're refurbs, but smart shooters know better. Ammo's affordable, power's there for big game. If you're building a Mauser collection on a budget, this is the one that punches above its weight. What's stopping you from adding some Yugo muscle to your safe? Swiss Schmidt Ruben K11. While Swiss watches get all the fame, the Swiss Schmidt Ruben K11 proves that Swiss precision extends to firearms, delivering 90% of the famous K31's magic at a fraction of the cost, $749 to $795 for solid examples in 2026. That straight pull action is buttery smooth. Yank back, shove forward, no rotation needed, making follow-ups addictive and fast. Served from 1911 to 1933, fewer made than K31s, but imports keep them available. Chambered in 7.5 by 55mm Swiss, it shoots like a laser, 1 to 2 MOE with quality ammo, embarrassing some modern hunters. Swiss standards meant every rifle was a tack driver, and Arsenal refurbs keep most in excellent shape. Full-length stock, 30-inch barrel balances well despite the length. Ammo's pricier than Russian stuff, but specialty importers and manufacturers like Previ Partisan have you covered. Recoil's manageable, power's there for big game. It's the accuracy junkie's dream in surplus form. Imagine cycling that bolt without breaking cheek weld. Pure joy. Isn't it time you experience Swiss engineering that makes traditional bolts feel clunky? For something different that actually performs, this one's calling. Spanish M1916 Mauser. In the world of Spanish Mausers, with their countless variants, the Spanish M1916 Mauser emerges as a standout value proposition, fetching just $250 to $400 thanks to confusion that keeps casual demand low. Originally in 7x57mm Mauser, one of the sweetest cartridges ever, ballistically ace for hunting. Many got converted to 7.62 NATO during modernization. NATO versions mean cheap, abundant ammo. Original 7x57 costs more, but recoils softer and flies flatter. Always verify chambering, slug the bore, or check head stamps to avoid boom time regrets. Compact carbine barrels, 21 to 24 inches, make them quick pointers. Action solid Mauser tough. Finish and wood vary from Civil War rough to later smooth. Accuracy, functional 3 to 4 MOA for plinking or woods work. Why do casual buyers skip these? Caliber mix-up scares them off. But do your homework, and you've got a handy bargain. Turkish Mauser M 1938. For shooters seeking that legendary Mauser 98 strength without paying collector premiums for a German K98, the Turkish Mauser M 1938 delivers exactly what you need. These rifles are still floating around for $300 to $600 in 2026. Talk about a steal for a rifle that packs 30-06 level punch and 8mm Mauser. The action is legendary, copied everywhere for a reason. Smooth, reliable, and built to last. Ottoman and Turkish arsenals crank these out. And recent imports mean consistent quality with matching numbers and decent bores, though you might see some finish wear. That short 23-inch barrel makes it super handy. Recoil? Yeah, it's aggressive. Remind you, this is a real battle rifle, not some plinker. Ammo is everywhere. Surplus 8mm is cheap, and modern hunting loads keep it relevant. Iron sights are basic but functional, and the two-stage trigger cleans up nice. Bayonet lug intact, often with the spike, cool for history buffs. Ever ask yourself why pay triple for a name when the Turk delivers the same grit? Grab one before prices creep up. It's the smart Mauser play. Arisaka Type 99. The Japanese Arisaka Type 99 represents some of the finest bolt-action engineering ever to come out of World War II, yet somehow still flies under the radar at $400 to $550. Why? Because 7.7 by 58mm Arisaka ammo is hard to find and costs a fortune. Think $3 to $4 per round unless you hand load. But if you're willing to reload or shoot sparingly, you're getting overbuilt metallurgy, massive lugs, and cock-on closing reliability that laughed at Pacific jungle conditions. Early war examples have chrome line bores and crisp machining. Late war last-ditch ones look rough but function perfectly. The short 26-inch barrel makes it handy, and ergonomics are surprisingly good. Chrysanthemum stamps are often ground off, but intact ones are collector gold. Ever think about owning the rifle that outlasted everything thrown at it in World War II? For the price, it's a steal if you love engineering over hype. Steyr Mannlicher M95 carbine. Among the more unusual offerings in today's surplus market, the Steyr Mannlicher M95 carbine stands out as a truly unique piece of Austro-Hungarian engineering, still available for $385 to $650 in good shape. These straight-pull beasts cycle faster than most bolt actions, insane value for a World War I era gun. The action is brutal and efficient. Pull straight back, slam forward, no twisting nonsense. Chambered in 8 by 56mm, rimmed often rebarreled from 8 by 50mm rimmed by the Greeks. It kicks like a mule with full power loads, but man, the reliability is rock solid. These saw action through 2 world wars and beyond. Most imports are in decent shape with honest patina. Ammo is the catch, scarce and pricey, so reload if you shoot often. But as a historical oddball, you can actually run. It's unbeatable. Who wouldn't want a great war carbine that feels like cheating on rapid fire? Perfect for the guy who wants to stand out at the range. Frenchmass 36. For those who appreciate rifles with character, the Frenchmass 36 brings quirky French engineering to the table at $500 to $700, while other surplus rifles skyrocket. Adopted in 1936, it toughed out World War II, Indochina, Algeria, you name it. Unconventional action. They know safe to use the bolt, odd handle, crude sights, but damn, it works under hellish conditions. 7.5 by 54mm French delivers 308 ballistics with milder recoil. Ammo's limited to importers like Pravi Partisan, pricey but decent. 2-piece stock looks flimsy but proved durable. Accuracy? 3 to 4 MOA? Military functional? Not match grade. Less collector hype than German or Russian stuff keeps prices low, despite the history. For something genuinely offbeat, it's a gem. Why does French surplus fly under the radar? Maybe the eccentricity scares folks off. But imagine owning a rifle that shrugged off jungles and deserts. Isn't that the kind of resilient oddball your collection needs? Carcano M91, M9138, all variants. Despite being one of the most unfairly maligned rifles in surplus collecting, thanks largely to old conspiracy theories, the Carcano remains one of the absolute cheapest surplus buys in 2026. You can snag a solid example for $300 to $450 right now, often less than a decent optic. The action is surprisingly smooth for a military bolt gun, and that mild 6.5 by 52 millimeters Carcano round is no shoulder breaker. The big myth: it's inaccurate. Nah, most keyholing comes from folks shooting the wrong bullet diameter. Get proper 6.5 millimeters projectiles, and these things group just fine for plinking or small game. Italian arsenals pumped out millions from 1891 through World War II, so imports keep flooding in. The M9138 short rifle handles like a dream, and the cavalry carbines with folding bayonets. Pure pocket rocket fun. Stocks show honest wear, bores vary. Always check headspace. But for sheer, historical bang for buck, nothing touches it. Ever wonder why something this reliable gets overlooked? Because most guys chase shiny new toys instead of real value. Wrapping this up, folks, the surplus world's shrinking fast. Warehouses emptying, collectors hoarding, parts getting scrapped. These 12 rifles, your last shot at battle-proven history, you can actually fire without selling a kidney. From the highly sought-after SAKS and Mosin to the underrated Carcano, they've got reliability, power, and stories modern guns can't touch. And stories modern guns can't touch. Clinic. I've put rounds through most, and yeah, they won't outshoot your custom build, but that raw, authentic feel? Priceless. Prices are creeping up in 2026, so hunt those deals now. What's your top surplus pick? Or one I missed? Spill in the comments. If this list fired you up, smash that like button and subscribe to Survival Gear Showcase for more gear breakdowns, survival tips, and no fluff reviews. Stay safe out there and keep shooting straight.